There's a bee in my bonnet, hello, hello. A bee in my bonnet, hello. There's a bee in my bonnet, hello, hello. A bee in my bonnet, hello. Would you be my song and I'll be your sonnet? You be my chair and I'll surely sit on it. I'll bring the gin and you bring the tonic. A bee in my bonnet, hello. There's a bee in my bonnet, hello, hello. A bee in my bonnet, hello. There's a bee in my bonnet, hello.
Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Kika and today is part number 2 of the Q&A. I am really excited about this episode because we're going to talk about some things that I get asked very often, and it's gonna be about, how to overcome creative block, how to get inspiration and just like creative photo ideas, and also how to stay productive and motivated through this all crazy journey. So yeah, let's jump right into it. This question was a really good one. How to win over the fear of taking photos in public. I think this is something that so many people struggle with. Just that embarrassment of especially taking self-portraits out in public if you have to, take out your tripod and you're doing it by yourself. Here what I've found helpful is to have a lot of time so that you found your location, you think like, okay, this is where I'm going to take the photo, maybe there are people around. To have a lot of time. So what I will do is, I start maybe setting up the camera slowly, take some photos, not even be in the frame myself, adjust, then sort of just like get used to the spot where I'm gonna be at. So I start feel more at home and sort of, claim the space for myself. And that really requires that you have time and you're patient. And then usually what will happen then is I slowly get into my own bubble, so then I don't care or even notice so much what is going on around me, and actually people around you, they don't care that much either. Most people just pass on by. Maybe somebody looks a little, says like, oh, looking good, or what are you doing, or whatever. But just you slowly get that confidence, and when you sort of feel comfortable and ready for it, you take your photos, maybe at a point where there aren't so many people around. And that's really what I've found helpful. How to stay productive. This is a really good question and something that I am quite obsessed with. Like, I am somebody who really likes to make stuff, and I am not super patient, so I kind of like, going from one project to the next one with a pretty fast pace. How to stay productive and make sure you actually follow through on your projects is, first of all, to make good enough your sort of slogan. So, because it's easy to become sort of overly reach for perfect, and done is better than perfect. So I think that is one way to stay productive. Another way to stay productive is to really plan beforehand you start making whatever you're making, and sort of realize that those are two separate processes. And often from the plan to the execution, it's good to have some time in between, so that you really have time to process what it is that you're going to try to make. I just find that really helpful. And then, of course, thirdly is just to be sort of disciplined and sort of high work morale, I guess, and ethics. I always have my dad as an example. Like, he's really a hard worker, he's a composer, and growing up I just always saw him really sort of push himself, challenge himself to the point of, I think I'm almost maybe too work obsessed sometimes. But I do really enjoy it, so it gives me a lot of fulfillment, a lot of joy. I think in this day and age we're really obsessed with being productive, and like, it's quite overwhelming sometimes. So I think it becomes about really trying to set for yourself your own goals, and when you sort of achieve your goals, like small goals, then you're also more likely to keep at it, because you'll see sort of the progress. How to start photography with little or nothing. This is such a good question. Thank you for it. So first of all, I want to say that it's definitely possible to start with, almost next to nothing. When I started this Instagram journey, I started to take the photos with my iPhone 4. And my advice when you start out with maybe just your phone is to really focus on the composition and trying to figure out what kind of photos it is you'd like to be taking. And you can break that down, so start very simple. So this photo is one of the first ones I took, where I really set it up and I had a very specific idea in mind. And what I was trying to go for was really a specific light. So I tried to experiment how I could get like the play of shadow and light. I mean, the photo is really not amazing in any way, but it was just that first sense of trying to figure out how I could accomplish that kind of mood that I was going for. And a very good tip here is to find some photos that you really like, that really inspire you, and almost try to copy them. So to the point of you have a photo, you try to sort of mimic it and try to see, okay, where is the light coming from? What colors have they used? What is the location? You know, how have they edited the photo? Is it mood or is it bright? Is it very colorful? Are the shadows very black or are they almost gray? Like all the things, like how you could sort of nail that. And there are so many great apps that are free on your phone to use, which can do, you know, really miracles. So VSCO is one I use a lot, and then Lightroom, obviously. Both are free, really good editing tools. How do you come up with your ideas? I am constantly on the lookout for new ideas, for connections. I think being creative is really about just connecting dots in a new way and in your way. So, you know, finding inspiration from anything that is visual, even things that aren't visual. So colors and moods and season and weather and nature, old photos, you know, pop culture. Of course, Instagram and Pinterest are ways to find ideas. Recently, I had a splurge in TikTok. Very weird, but sort of quite fascinating because it's so different from the stuff and the style I have. So I think the trick is to really keep your mind open and also to dig into things that really are maybe not your cup of tea, and then you might just find something that is inspiring in that. How to come over creative block or artist block. The first thing here really to acknowledge is that no matter what you're doing creatively, trying to make something, this will always happen. Like there is no way around it. Like, you know, it will sometimes come. My advice and how I try to go about it is to try to see why it is happening. So reasons could be, for example, do you have so high pressure and do you put so much the standards of what you're making so high that you're reaching for perfect? So you become, you know, numb even before starting. So you become this like block that prevents you from doing the thing because you have already the end result in mind, that it's like, and it has to be like awesome and it has to be so original or, you know, groundbreaking or whatever, you know, that it has to be perfect to you, that is sort of stopping you. If that is the case, I would acknowledge, well, first of all, sort of acknowledge that. And then the cure to that is really just letting go of all of your expectations. Let go. And then secondly, to start very simple and really try to tap into that joy and curiosity instead. So yeah, if you experience like perfectionism, like I know, been there, done that all the time. I get frustrated when it doesn't feel like it's gonna turn out how I want to. Then just have to take a step back, reassess, try to experiment, let go of all sort of pressure of the end result, and then actually you'll see that probably you'll get over that hump. Another reason you might be experiencing artist block is if you're very tired and maybe stressed and actually not so inspired, and you're sort of forcing it and then just feels like nothing is coming because you're forcing it and you don't actually maybe have the energy or just like not really feeling up for it. In that case, you know, have to take a break. If it's work, so you can't take a break, trying to take like a mini break or just trying to maybe do something else for a while so you can let your brain rest and all the creative processes can sort of be working in the background for a while. That usually helps me. But it's a tough one. Sometimes you just have to sort of, I don't know, force it a little bit, and then you'll be rolling again. All right, that is all for this time. That concludes the Q&A series. I hope these tips gave you some value, some inspiration, some insight. Let me know in the comments below, and come and hang out at Kika over at Instagram, and subscribe to my channel so you'll get notified every time there's a new video. And see you next time. Bye!
Bonnet, hello.